This week on RSBANDB Update, the Hero Pass arrives Monday. We break it down in terms of other Battle Pass systems, ask what it needs to do differently, and we discuss whether or not it is a major RuneScape update. Also, we welcome more Necromancy changes targeting griefers. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 950, recorded Thursday, August 31st, 2023. The Yakking Hero. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another episode of RSBANDB Update. I am back this week. Interesting to see the damage I was left in the podcast scene over the last week. No, you guys did great last week. You guys really did great. Good job,
Anarchy. Thank you, Anarchy.
Yeah, from what I heard, what I heard back reports wise, it was a good show. So of course, a big huge thank you to both you and Thaxi for running it, and Earth running the technical side. So big huge thank you. Glad to be back, but welcome. I guess I should be welcoming myself back, but hello, Tannis.
Well, thanks, Shane. Well, we're glad you're back. It's always weird when you're not around, but I think the number of times you haven't been around in the decades of the show at this point are probably less than a handful. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. I don't take many vacations.
Never. And so we're glad that you got away and had some fun. And I think we held the fort down relatively well for a bunch of anarchists.
Yeah, and you guys had an interesting subject matter to discuss. We'll touch on that briefly in a bit after. But Pernasius is also here. Welcome.
Thank you, and thank you once again for the invite on the show. It's a good one to be on this week, I feel.
Yeah, Hero Pass, a better, more rewarding RuneScape, as they say, evolving Yak Track. We'll get into all the juicy details on that in just a moment, but of course, if you're joining us for the first time, you can find full show notes at update.show, and I have to give a big, huge thank you to our experienced tier Patreon members, for whom without RSBANDB Update would not be possible. So I'd like to thank Andrew C., Drama Free, Jason S., Jesse W., Kesky, Maniac RS, Ricky A., Ripeth, Seth W., and The Naked Captain. Now, of course, we're going to discuss Hero Pass. We're going to talk about the next changes coming forward for Necromancy and some of the patches from this week. But, of course, if you want to follow along, show notes at update.show. You can also find us in-game at Friends Chat, BitsBytes, and our Discord at rsbnb.com/Discord. So, with that being said, you guys ready to jump in to the Hero Pass?
Let's
Definitely.
dive.
Okay. Early reactions, Tannis.
I have absolutely no problem with this whatsoever, but I would like to help them get to know the RuneScape community and how to message things.
All right, Pernasius.
Yeah, love it. I mean, as I said earlier, I am a bit of a achievement whore. So, Yak Track, I've always enjoyed Yak Track. I always knocked that over, in the first, 9 to 14 days. This is just an extension of that, and we've been calling for Jagex to do their monetization in more cosmetics and things, and I think this is that next step of getting that way. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and I've always felt that Yak Track on its own was this weird combination of RuneScape trying to implement a battle pass that really didn't do it that well when you look at all the other battle passes that are out there. Like, if you look at some of the biggest ones out there, I know one of the biggest battle passes out there, I don't play the game personally myself, but one of the biggest ones is in Fortnite, where everything is about cosmetics, and that's the sole monetization method for the game. And I know we would love to get to a point where RuneScape does its monetization purely based off of cosmetics. I don't know if we can do that while XP is a thing, just because of how valuable the XP is and how much money people are willing to spend at points on Treasure Hunter to make things happen with that. But I'm very interested to see where this goes, and we're going to go through this. We're going to talk about the why behind it. We're going to talk about the gameplay mechanics that they've laid out, and we'll talk about some of the messaging, too, about whether it's a major update, a major content update, or major at all. Then we'll wrap up with the rewards and buffs and talk about what happens to all of our previous Yak Track items included in it. So this launches on Monday, September 4th. So there's no going back on this. They did mention that the update would be coming out in the week before. So what that means internally for folks who might not be aware of how Jagex operates is that by the time they started talking about it, the final release builds of this content were being pushed forward and tested and ready to ship out by the end of the week, since update drops at noon or so Monday. So, why Hero Pass? Well, they're calling this one Hero Pass Underworld. 54 cosmetic items that are earned by everybody who chooses to play with it, as well as 94 total cosmetics for Premier members. So an additional 40 on top of that. And, we're still seeing that same breakdown behind Standard and Premier, which I think is good. Keep that Premier element around it. But when it gets to the why, they say that many games today do a great job at providing rewards for simply being an active participant of the game. And most importantly, they do it in a way that feels organic to how people actually play. And this is the first aha moment for me, because I feel like unless Yak Track was being specifically tailored to what you were working on at the time, you only had the choice of skill and kill, and you really weren't rewarded that well for doing Yak Track. So I'm hoping this will be slightly different on that.
Yeah.
Now, I always the skill and kill side of thing was always my sort of a bit of a the bad taste in the mouth on Yak Track, because it was like when they first did it, it was like way too easy to do it, and then I think they made it a little too hard. I would have loved to have seen that as a third choice. So you have your gathering slow one, your expensive where you've got to spend GP fast one, and then have your skill and chill or skill and kill type one. But I think as I said, we live and learn, and I think they've taken what was good from Yak Track and hopefully developed into something it is better and more rewarding for more players.
Yeah, and they say they haven't achieved the bar set by other Battle Pass systems. So.
Well, no. And you said something earlier, Shane, that I think we need to... I want to draw attention to it because it's really important, okay? When you're talking about Fortnite and, we're talking about cosmetics and other games that are cosmetic, you got to also remember that's all they have. Okay, there is no XP, you don't have skills, you don't have anything like that. You have dances and you have cosmetics, but that's it. And so it is different on RuneScape because you have a lot more, right? But I think finally all of the data is in, and they're trying to make this more palatable and work better from all of the trial runs they did with Yak Track.
Yeah.
Which is what I suspected all along in Yak Track, because how many times did I just skill and chill the whole way through?
Yeah.
Every time it was offered.
And this underscores the problem
alone.
with Yak Track is that there's just no engagement behind it. And the way it was set up, that people, would blast through it in, I don't know what your quickest one was, Pernasius.
I did one in under a week. I think it was 5 days was my quickest. But generally, as a general rule, I averaged about 9 days.
Right. And then what happens after that, right? And then they started to venture into that with the two most recent Yak Track events with the Yak coins behind them. But what we see is that for what it was supposed to do, for creating a way of engaging with the game that fosters either somebody just dipping in for a little bit on mobile, somebody playing for a few hours, or the folks who play for 8 to 12 hours a day, it wasn't hitting the mark, I think. And I know this. I know this because it just felt like that over time. Like, I remember seeing people finishing Yak Track within the first week and a bit, and then after that, we have the whole Yak Coin debacle, right?
Yeah, and the rewards for unless you want those XP buffs, which I mean, I don't mind stars. I hate lamps, but the whole the rewards that they offered were very lackluster on those coins, and the worst thing was at the end of it they just took them away. So there was nothing there that I wanted. I had 47 coins that I just lost because there was nothing there for me.
Yeah. And now we get to the design of this, and what they wanted was they wanted to deepen the RuneScape experience with a new reward system that fits into natural play. Ensure that rewards are earnable for the majority of players and invest in designing more unique rewards that are worth the player's time, and encourage players to engage and catch up with recently released content. Now, obviously, the third one did that with a loose theme in previous Yak tracks, like the 4 and 3 Frontier and whatnot. But the other ones, I feel like Yak Track didn't fit into the natural play unless you just decided, hey, I'm doing this blind with skill and chill. And for the rewards, there was lots of stuff at the end that I know lots of people wanted that they just couldn't get to because they were only willing to play an hour a day. And
funny, I did it blind and skill and chill.
Yeah.
And that's right. And that's unfair on those players. Like someone like Sirion, who does only have, sort of a couple of hours a week to play, if he wanted that last item and he didn't have that time to do it in the 6 weeks that Yak Track ran, it was like, well, why am I bothering even trying to engage with it? Because there's no way I've got, that 140 hours to play. So I think this is going to be much better long term for your more casual type player who want those rewards, but as a general rule, just don't have that time to throw in to the game to do it.
Yeah, and it's important to note here, they're focusing on engagement, which means how players engage with the system and how it encourages players to return regularly or find more value in a single playing session than they would have had without the system in place. And big bullet point for later, they do not want this to drive more daily scape pressure, which I know has been another one of those things that's been floating around the community, which we'll get to in a wee bit. Now, what they have done is they're designing missions for consistency so they don't become increasingly grindy as you progress, which sometimes turn the Yak Track experience into a chore at later levels and in turn encourage skips. Which I think we all feel that they were actually trying to sell skips based on some of the tasks we saw in the last two.
Yeah. So burning all those elder logs is like, nah, no way am I burning
No.
I'm skipping that one.
Missions need to feel integrated into your day-to-day experience, encourage you to focus on latest content releases, and don't create a distracting commitment from other goals that you have in game, and then ensuring that the hero pass is an ample runtime to complete through gameplay and is more rewarding for non-completionists and is always on to reduce time pressure. And I feel like that's the other thing as well, is that we were in a world where Yak Track was kind of designed for completionists, dare I say it.
Oh, it really was, yeah.
Because, if we worked the numbers and they were gradually inching up, and I think we were up to like 3.7 hours a day on the last one that you'd have to play to just play the thing through skill and kill.
Yeah, it was.
And that was a no-no.
Pretty grindy, yeah.
So.
And they did say that they were trying to, that they tried to remove that kind of a grind and stuff. So, to me, like, it's nothing but good news.
And to be fair, we don't have the numbers yet about how the progress is going to go. We have to take them at face value with what they're saying here.
Well, and here's my other thing. Like, this only should matter if you want to participate or not. Like, you don't have to. And there is...
You can continue to play RuneScape as is what you're getting at.
Yeah, I mean, totally.
Well, maybe with one bullet point, but, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The daily challenges, but more on that after, of course.
Yeah, more on that later. I mean, I guess we do have a little bit of perspective, Shane. We did do fresh start, so.
Where does that come in? I don't know. Tell me.
Well, they're very good at lower levels. They're good for Iron
Right.
Man.
Right.
But even as good as they were, I was never. I guess maybe I'm just not a player that feels compelled to have to do something because I didn't always do them. But yeah,
Yeah. Like, I mean, I
they were.
have a feeling we all want daily challenges right now for Necromancy. So, but
Yeah, that's true.
But
yeah, that's true.
But let's talk about the daily missions right now, then, because that's an interesting part, I think, about this, in terms of how they get broken down here. So, with this, the dailies are what we know as daily challenges. Every time you log in to RuneScape on a new day, you'll have a daily mission with 3 tiers of potential reward, and each one will take a little longer than the last one, but also returns a bigger hero point bonus. These missions simply require you to play RuneScape and gain hero points as you play, and you can progress through them by training the skill tied to the mission. Now, each one will also award a small, medium, or large lamp based on the tier that you choose to complete. Now, it's interesting to note that in the current daily challenge system, medium lamps. So with this, small, medium, or large, based on tier. Once again, I have to wait and see the number of points for each one to know where this lands. Weekly missions award a bigger hero point pool, and with this you have a basic mission, which you can complete by earning hero points through play, just like the daily missions, though these reset each week. Then you have weekly general missions, which are more specific to their requirements, such as cutting a number of logs or earning a certain amount of marks of war, and will remain available until the current end of the hero pass. If the content doesn't fit your focus that week, you can save it for a later one. And then weekly general missions are also added to your hero pass every week without needing to log in. So if you return to RuneScape a month into a hero pass season or go on a holiday for a few weeks, you won't have missed any of those weekly missions waiting for you. Then you have special missions, which are awarded for getting involved in the latest pieces of content, and these are themed to areas that have been updated or new pieces of content that have been added to the game. And at launch, the first one will focus around Necromancy and 4 and 3. The examples given are to complete Necromancy rituals or to complete Slayer assignments from the Raptor. These are 2 examples of what the special ones look like. And then when it comes to, as they say, keeping missions fun, in Yaktrack there was some common feedback around how the task system fit into general play. Tasks often pushed you into experiences that didn't fit your personal goals, and scaling based on level, they could become overwhelmingly long at points. Boy, do we agree with that based on what we just talked about with those fire-making ones at the high level. Now,
well, mine was more the cost, but yeah.
Yeah, the cost with Elders at the time. Yeah. With Hero Pass, mission goals are consistent for all levels and daily missions and allow you to approach them in a much more way that's tailored to your own gameplay. And here's the key part. They are designed to take well under an hour for all 3 tiers of rewards, making them more fulfilling to complete without disrupting your day-to-day play. So if you only have an hour a day to play and you really want what's on the Hero Pass, I think we know what you're doing. Progress is also singular for daily missions too, so if you've been playing without focusing on a mission and want to push to complete it, focusing in on the mission skill bonus will be additive to the progress you've already made. Now, with weekly missions, special missions, and general play all providing progress, you won't need to dailyscape to make good progress in the Hero Pass, they say. And while the bonus progress skills or objectives required to complete daily and weekly missions are assigned randomly, you can use Viswax to reroll daily missions into a particular skill to optimize your mission progress in synergy with what you're already doing.
And that's great. Another use for Viswax.
Yeah. It was at this point for me reading through the post that I really came on board and started to like this system, because what this is doing, and I want to talk way more about this once I get my hands on it, is that this is integrating that Yak Track style battle pass, progress loop, and reward circuit into your daily gameplay cycle, into what would have previously been daily challenges. And I think that is the huge win for this system.
So are we losing daily challenges as they are, or
Yes.
are they working? So they are taking
Yeah.
those out, okay. I
Yeah.
thought they were, but I just wanted to double check that.
Yeah, they are going away. They are going away.
And they've been trying to figure out something about that because of the pressure.
But we need to be 100% clear with this, because I know this is always going to come up. Those 3 little challenges you get in that window there for daily challenges, that's just the very cherry on the top of the Dailyscape problem, dare we say it? We know from our Dailyscape tier list.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Like, let's be honest, most of them take like 5 or 10 minutes each. You know,
yeah.
You're not gonna, I only do them for the extra 3 keys.
Right, because nothing is changing with this. If we really wanted, to reduce the pressure of Dailyscape, that people see it as, like the Dailyscape pressure of I need to do, I need to go do caches, I need to go do Rube Goldberg, I need to go do Herbie Werby, I need to go do the Vine thing in Ardoin. Please don't go do that. That one's a waste of time. But you get my drift.
You don't like Vinesweeper?
No. that one and the Slayer Vine thing is one of the worst dailies you can have. But the point I'm making is that those daily challenges in the daily system, they're really not that difficult compared to the other stuff in the game. So this, just moves the pressure into one other thing from another, I think. And you're rewarded more heavily for this. My only concern, and I bid it farewell, is that wonderful UI that Mod Stu and company did a couple Christmases ago that reinvigorated those and brought in the track there. Because that was a nice UI. I'll miss it. But so we can talk about rewards, but I know where we want to go next with this. And Tanis, you mentioned this. This was the major update for September.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for what it's worth, I've pulled up the Necromancy dev update thing again. For what it says, it just says TPA major update.
Yeah, I think it's always important to know your audience. And look, we all agree, like, it's a good thing. It's a good innovation. I have absolutely no problem with it whatsoever. You probably sense a but, and you'd be right. But the RS community is super touchy about microtransaction stuff. Okay.
Anything that pays the bills through gameplay, let's just say.
Yes, essentially. Even if you give them exactly what they say they have been wanting. My only issue is billing this as an update, because what you're going to, that gives people the impression of, oh, well, we didn't get, oh, the only update is you just want money, oh yeah, I mean, because no one feels like this takes development, even though we know different, we know better. I think at large it doesn't feel that way. It feels like, oh, this is a cash grab, and there's no actual content behind it. There's some nice cosmetics.
Right, but imagine an alternate framing then. Imagine an alternate framing, where when they post the Necromancy development update, we get Necromancy in August, and instead, all it says for September is, new updates and player feedback.
Yeah.
They had to put something in that box. And this goes to exactly what we've been saying, and what you've been saying, is that for all intents and purposes, RuneScape is in that expansion model now, where you get a big key update every 3 to 4 months, and smaller ones trickled in between. Because we know, looking at this right here, August, Necromancy. September, new updates and player feedback. October, new quest, Ancient Awakening. Necromancy brings people in. New updates and player feedback. Existing players. New quest, Ancient Awakening. Existing players and questers. We know that quests can't carry a piece of tentpole content, and then it's not until you get till November that you got the new boss battle, which is going to be the next big piece of content.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have all the other things in there in between.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, though, is that I feel that way.
Yeah.
I think we're... Yeah. Sometimes I think we're different, but as we saw with the reaction, I think that just kind of proves my point that I don't... We're ready, we understand it, but I'm not sure everybody is there yet. Hence the reaction that Hero Pass got.
Right, and then the question is, would it have been better to not mention this as a major update then, and just say, instead say, Yaktrack the next generation instead, or something like that, right?
Right. I mean, you can even call it Hero Pass. You can do all the same stuff, right? You could just you can even say, hey, coming in September. Just don't make it sound like it. Oh, this is the major content update,
right? But based on this is looking like this is like the main thing, and there might be more in September. We don't know, but it says new updates and player feedback, right? So what that tells me is that, and based on the scale of this, I know that there had to have been significant dev hours put into this to the point where it does class as an update, dare I say it. It does class as an update.
I just think that we could have, if there ever was a month where you could have gotten away with just the Necromancy feedback
and patches.
QO, if there was ever going to be we just got Necromancy and it's huge. It would have been this month, because then you come back in October. Okay, now we have Halloween
and the quest.
There's the quest, right? So it's not that I don't think it was right. It's just that people obviously are not there yet.
Yeah, and as you said, it is a marketing thing, and it also has a lot to do. I mean, what I was saying in pre-show, it is social media has trained us to hate on everything, and I think a lot of that is a lot of the content creators as well, who sit there because it's populous to hate on things and get this reaction and that, and people jump on board that type
I didn't
of
even
thing.
check any of the feeds this week. I didn't even check what Reddit was up to before this episode.
You didn't?
No.
Oh yeah, no. I still hear about it. But it's just, and that's the thing though. People, they love to hate on things because it gets likes, it gets views, and that type of thing. Those very same people who are hating on it are going to love it and be playing it.
And I
have that before.
Yeah.
And I have other questions I could ask about this, but that's probably not the forum for this right now. Right? But I feel like that underscores the main point here, is that just like everything Jagex does, it's a matter of framing.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. It is their marketing department probably needs a bit of an overhaul or retraining on, because you can't market to the general RuneScape player like you do to other games.
Yeah, and to be fair,
a different breed.
And to be fair, what I think that based on probably the amount of dev time that went into this, and the amount of discussion that went into this, CM and JMods who play and whatnot, all that discussion that went into it probably worked its way up to the marketing team, and hence why we're getting that major update branding, I feel.
Yeah. Which I don't mind either. I mean, to me, hey, this is a great update for me because it's something else. As I said, I love those achievements. I love having goals set for me that I chase, which is probably why I love Slayer. So, I've got to get this, I've got to get this. I like that type. I like having some direction in a game.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is with the RuneScape player, this isn't Jagex's game. This is our game that Jagex makes for us. I think a lot of the players feel that it is their game, and we allow Jagex to make it for us.
And based on what we've seen in Necromancy, and based on what we've seen, over the past 6 months, I feel like that you're probably right on that.
And that's not having a shot at the player. That shows the passion that the players have for the game. I mean, the game's here 21 years. There's a reason it's stuck around. Because the players are so invested. But yeah, you're right. It is the marketing side of things is, I think, where they need to sort of start to understand that mindset of their players more so than what the general gaming market is about.
Yeah. Because in theory, an update is any time you change code, and therefore the more code that is changed, major update.
Yeah, I mean, a marketing
and to be fair,
team,
we're not defending.
Sense.
This isn't in defense of Jagex. We're trying to paint the picture of what the marketing team likely thought of in this process.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Right.
And I've got a marketing degree, and I mean, the way they do it is the way you would do it for 99% of marketing things. But as I said, RuneScape is that 1% where you have to think outside that general marketing box and understand that player mindset that, hey, this is our game that we allow you to make for us. And that's not, as I said, not having a shot at the player, because it shows that passion, and they need to understand that passion. There's a reason why OSRS, was so popular and all that, because the players, a lot of players don't understand the time and money and effort that goes into developing these type of things, and it has to be paid for somehow. But they do need to do a better job in understanding their actual primary player base.
Yeah. Tannis, anything else before we move on this?
I was just gonna say too that remember, as Premier members, you're just gonna have this, right? So this is just all good all around when I look at it, because I mean, even I was like the last holdout on Premier Club, and even I get it now. So
yeah, like what's our saying is, it's that if you're paying more than $650 per membership, Premier Club is worth it. Or if you want to compete and take part in at least one of the Yak tracks every year, Premier is worth it.
Yeah. So here's a bunch of extras if you want them. Like, that's it. If you want a bunch of extra stuff, you can play in September.
Yeah, and then it just comes down to the semantics of what is an update, right? And how is that presented to the players?
Yeah.
And I don't agree with it. I think everything's going to be fine. I think people are, as per usual, blowing this out of proportion.
Absolutely.
And I can definitely see the question of whether this is a major update or not, but leave that on the marketing side. So.
Right.
And again, what is a major update and what isn't is an individual thing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I understand a new boss is a major update, but that's not for me. You know,
Yeah.
Tannis will be in the same boat because we're not big PVMers. It's like, oh yeah, I'll get around to it one day, but it's not the thing I'm going to be racing out to do and be the first to get 4,000% enrage and things like that. But for those other people that are in it, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of money and in general paying for things, Patreon supporters, big huge thank you to you guys for making Update possible. I really did miss reading this out last week. I understand you guys did a wonderful job at it, but this is one of my favorite parts of the show. So this week I'd like to thank Alfie S, Amos Reed, Andrew C, Arvids L, Chunk the Monk, Cycle RS, Dominic R, Drama Free, Duramax, Free Milk, Jacob G, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jeebus, Jesse W, Kesky, Ling01, Maniac RS, Mohan V, Mr. Crafty, Nate the Great, Nick G, Pernasius, Renhawk, Ricky A, Rippeth, Runestar, Samuel FL, Scott DS, Seth W, Shirtpants, Tabby, The Naked Captain, The Dabbing Goat, Tim, Tom V, Ukulele Steve, and Zant. Big huge thank you to everybody who makes RSBANDB Update possible. We would not be here without you guys. So big, huge thank you and round of applause to all of our Patreon supporters for allowing us to do what we do here. It means the world to us. And if you're wondering what all this is about, head on over to patreon.com/RSBNB. There, for as little as $1 a month, you'll be helping support the running of RSBNB Update, as well as gaining an entire access to the back catalog of monthly bits, which is our monthly bonus shows. New poll up on for the next one right now. A little bit late because I was away, but nonetheless, we're going to get that done. You also get access to our roundtables, and in addition, as I mentioned, of course, the biggest thing, helping to fund the costs of production for RSBNB Update. We also have a VIP tier for $3 a month. We receive a special VIP rank on Discord, chat channel access, and a mention on the podcast at the start of the month, in addition to high-quality stereo versions of the podcast. And for $5 a month, you'll receive a shout-out on the podcast each and every week and gain exclusive access to the outtakes that we use to make the clip show at the end of the year. So big, huge thank you to everybody for making RSBNB Update possible. I missed doing this last week, so thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks.
All right. So let's continue on. Rewards from the Hero Pass, because, it wouldn't be a Battle Pass system without rewards. And this is also another rethink in terms of how Yaktrack did it. So, breaking this apart, the leveling system offers a more consistent experience from day one, with Hero Pass requirements per level that never increase between level 1 and 99, and then from 100 to 120, they increase. By splitting the experience into 2 leveling brackets, they grant more unlocks to more players with every new Hero Pass release without compromising on rewards for the more dedicated players that chase. Now, they say that none of that matters if the content isn't killer. So, there have been some big investments in this area to really make Hero Pass customization rewards feel special. And this is something I was always a little bit on the fence of, if Jagex was able to actually capable of this, given, constraints with the engine, constraints with the character model, constraints with cloth, and all that. So, what I'm wondering with this is how this is all going to look. They say not only will you find more unique looks in Hero Pass compared to Yaktrack, but they're making more unique customization spaces to give even more power in fulfilling Fashionscape fantasies. And with this, Heroes Pass Underworld delivers 54 total cosmetics to earn for all players, and 94 for the Premier Pass, which is a huge step up, since they say the most cosmetic-rich Yaktrack only had 36 earnable cosmetics for Premier members.
Yeah, it's a ton of cosmetics, and I know people. I mean, I'm the only person though that I know that uses those kinds of cosmetics.
Yeah, I've used a few around the Christmas time and whatnot, like from the Christmas tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, in the past, they haven't really spoke to me, so that's what I'm concerned about here if they're going to do that.
I have to unlock them all and never ever touch them. It's just that thing. I have to click on the cosmetic thing and see that I've unlocked everything. But the only cosmetic override I really use is my Master Quest cape. Otherwise, I just hide everything. So my player actually looks exactly the same as when I first made it in the basic outfit we made when we first created our character.
And I wonder how many other people are in that camp, honestly, because I have to wonder if that's sustainable.
Although if you look around, I'm here at just doing some necromancy while we're doing the show, some rituals, and just having a look there. Every player does look different. I've got wings, I've got different capes, I've got different. Yeah, looking at the players, everyone's wearing something different.
Okay.
Most people do have cosmetics set.
Yeah. So from 1 to 99, it's going to be 1,000 hero points per level. And from 100 to 120, it's going to be 3,000 hero points per level. So that's the ramping up on it. In the news post, did any of these cosmetics speak to you guys yet, or are we waiting until next week to see more in game, like I am?
I'll wait to see what they look like in game.
I want to see more, but I'm interested in the different kinds that they talked about, like in the video.
Yeah, like the other spaces for customization, right?
Yeah, like the different what do we call it, conjures and stuff like that.
That's a fun one. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Also, as you level up, you'll earn emblems themed to the current hero pass to spend in the unique store for that hero pass. The store gives access to additional customization items outside of the hero pass levels, which you can pick up in the order you prefer. This is the space to give you additional rewards that you have the power of to prioritize as you level up. This space will also be used to provide access to past Yak Track cosmetics as well, and in the future potentially select Hero Pass cosmetics of the past too. And with this, they're using the Hero Pass store to provide a new pursuit after you've completed level 120 or completed 120 Hero Pass levels, as we fully expect. And here's your part, Bernasius. They expect some of our most active players will complete it with plenty of time to spare. So with this, the pursuit item will be a special cosmetic outfit unlocked by spending enough emblems on other rewards in the Hero Pass store, counted cumulatively. This means that you'll get to experience even more content in the process of hunting it down. And the total emblem cost requires more than you'll get in the 120 levels, so you'll need to keep earning extra emblems through uncapped leveling, which remain at the 3,000 hero points per level, just like other heroic levels, which, was a huge problem when Yak Track came about, is that things kept continuing and you still had that, 3-hour task to get a medium lamp or 1 Yak coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your Yak coins went pow-pow.
Yeah, well, that's the last one I had, I think 47 coins that were just removed. And that's what I like about this one as well. If you do, say you've done it all and then something happens, you race to hospital sort of a week before it finishes and such, and you don't actually get to log on to spend them. Well, you can actually speak to an NPC if you have those to reuse. You can still unlock those items from that previous one. Now, again, that is going to be a niche.
You remember at one point that was the sole complaint about Yak coins, is that they disappeared?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting how our priorities shift, hey?
And now they say, well, okay, fine, if they won't actually disappear, but you can use them if you didn't get to spend them. Well, you can go back and do this. My issue with those Yak coins is, you could buy lamps, and that was it. It's like, the first one there was extra capes, so I was able to buy sort of all the capes and have, yes, I had a few coins left over. That was neither here nor there. But the last one, it was only the one cape. You could buy that same cape, but no one was buying it on the GE, so it was a waste of time. or you could buy lamps, and I don't want to buy lamps.
No, and it was horrible value back then to buy those lamps.
Oh yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
So, okay. Heroes Pass is always alongside you in RuneScape, so every action you take progresses Hero Pass. And with this, they say they've talked to many players about the ways that Hero Pass integrates into gameplay through skilling, missions, and what you earn also plays a part, with 2 new types of gameplay rewards also being introduced in the Hero Pass. First ones
this is the bit that excited
buffs. Me. Okay, the buffs. So they're XP and content buffs, which, XP buffs we knew before for various types. And then the content buffs. The content buffs, you have Trailblazer, decreases the number of steps for all clue scrolls by 1. Fort Artisan, 20% chance to save 1 resource when making refined planks, frames, and stone wall segments. Headhunter allows you to select your next Slayer task at any Slayer Master. Chaos Ward reduces damage incoming in the Zamorakian Undercity Elite Dungeon by 20% for a full run. And Lumberjack's Ingenuity doubles the chance of all woodcutting tool invention perks for activating for 10 minutes. And you just use these charges whenever you want. And just like we had with the Golden Cape Hunt, any kind of things relating to, say, boss kill times and whatnots don't count if you're running any of these buffs, specifically looking at the ED4 one.
But you look at something like the Trailblazer, where you get that 1 clue scroll, plus you've got the relic on Anachronia, so technically you can get 2 less steps in a clue scroll for elites and masters. That's going to be brilliant. So you're going to get some of your easies. You go to the first spot and unlock it.
Yeah, and you can toggle these on and off at your own discretion too, which is neat. Every buff has a certain number of charges, usually consumed when the effect takes place or when you manually activate for limited runtime buffs. And they say, following the reaction to the buffs in the Golden Cape Hunt, they are using this to bring seasonal buffs that add a unique flavor to your RuneScape play for 3 months at a time. And the XP buffs are grouped by our usual support, combat, gathering, and artisan, and these are unlocked as you progress, capping at 15% per skill grouping. I think that's neat. Better than what we had before with Yak Track.
Oh, by far.
Far better, because Yak Track before was just like, you get a 20% XP buff, which, again, that didn't bother me so much because I was still doing the content, but, I just love that we have a good variety of different things for different people now.
Yeah, it's good. There's also Hero Pass Satchels, which are another reward that is earned that are packed with your gameplay-focused goodies, and these offer random rewards from a drop table and are things like your Gift to the Reapers, See All the Clue Scrolls, Slayer VIP coupons, Ports Resources, Ancient Effigies, Dungeoneering tokens, Gobi Burl Charms, and more. So this is where those rewards from that the weekly track on the daily challenges is going into these satchels. So that's neat. Glad that persists. Free and premier rewards, we kind of went over that already. Then we come to the Yak Track reward conversion here. So starting from September 4th when this launches, players who earned Yak Track, the Yak Track Progress Booster in the last one, will be awarded 10 levels in Hero Pass, just like we kind of already had before, so that's nice. Any bought or earned Yak Skips will be awarded as Hero Pass levels automatically, applying as a ratio of 1 skip to 1 level.
Sweet, I get 26 free levels.
All right.
Oh, God.
I only ever use the skips on the Elder Log one, and occasionally the Dungeoneering one, but yeah.
I think I finished with like 4 or something, if I'm remembering correctly. Tannis, do you know where you were at?
Probably 0, because I use them things. especially at the end. Like, yeah.
Right. Okay. And then our daily challenge skip tokens, which people might have been gathering, are going to be converted to hero points at a ratio of 1 token for 125
All
points.
right.
So that means
You can only have 99 of those kept in your currency pouch. So that's going to be great as well.
Yeah, so for every 8 tokens you have, that's one level on the hero pass.
So I've got 99. How many does that give me? Oh, sweet.
It's about, 12 or 13.
I'm doing well. I'm having a good head start on everyone.
And then comes the future of daily challenges, which is, conveniently nestled at the end of the news post here, for anybody wondering. And I feel like we just need to drop the charade on this, that these daily challenges are something that are bad for the player base, because they were made less onerous 2 or 3 times before. They were
they're simple.
They pale in comparison in difficulty compared to those other daily challenges that are out there for what you get. They're actually quite rewarding to do, and I don't feel like this was the dailyscape problem people were talking about. So the question, I think, isn't so much of, is this, once again raising the question of dailyscape, is this going to, is that method people would be in if they were training, say, dungeoneering and using the lamps from it? Is that going to scale nicely into the new Hero Pass system? I think that's a question that needs to be asked.
Well, and I mean, we can see why you can see why, like, it was done, because they want to drive that daily engagement to the Hero Pass.
Yeah.
And so the only thing I've heard on kind of on the street is it seems to be like people saying Iron Man are going to be hurt or this or that, but at the same time you have other people that say Iron Man it has been watered down. So it's like, I don't know. It does.
I mean, you choose Iron Man for a reason, to
Right.
make the game more difficult. If you're complaining because it's, but this makes it easier for me, it's going to hurt me because it's going to make it harder, well, what are you playing Iron Man in the first place? I had Iron Man from the very get-go. I loved it back when it was first out, and they just kept, now you can do this, now you can do this, and they just made it easier and easier. I call it Rusty Man now because it's been watered down so much. The iron has been sitting in water and, it's covered in rust. We can't base the game around that type of play. That is a play style you choose to do. If it's going to make it harder for you, so be it. You've got to look at the majority of the main play, which is to use everything that's in game. So saying I am going to miss my dailies for those extra 3 keys, 15 minutes work, 3 free keys. Hey, I'm happy with that, because I don't spend money on keys. The only keys I sort of use are what I earn in game. So
yeah, and like I feel like my only question again with this in terms of like the 1-to-1 replacement is, like the take the archaeology challenge, right? Which is excavate an artifact or restore an artifact. Are you going to be able to get the same kind of progress by doing that exact same thing with archaeology this time if you're presently training archaeology and then getting medium lamp or more? Like, is it going to take the same amount of time in archaeology to do that now under this system that it does in daily challenges? Another one like that is divination. That's really fast. Go gather, two inventories of divine memories, pop on the relic power and dump them into the crater. 2 of those and you're done. You're done 3 of those, and you get 3 divination lamps each and every day for doing that. So that's my only question.
For the last couple of months have been
like,
woodcutting.
Is what's the 1-to-1 on that, and in terms of where we're at? And I don't think we have that, and we're not going to know that until next week. So I don't know
released.
that jumping up and down about
Yeah.
that is the right time for right now.
And that's what I was going to say. I mean, people are jumping up and down about this. We don't know what it's like. Jump up and down and complain once the content's here, you tried it, and if there's a problem, let them know. But to just sort of sit there and speculate and say, oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, well, hang on a sec. Just, let us get the content and see what it's like first, then complain.
Yeah, and they say...
like, even...
go ahead.
I was going to say, like, even if it is, even if it isn't quite one-to-one, at the end of the day, you're still being rewarded more because number one, you're just playing how you want to play. So you're getting rewarded, whereas you would have had to done something you didn't want to do or not engaged with it at all, right? So you're getting something more than what you were getting before.
Yeah.
It's just all the way you look at it.
Yeah. They say that the daily Hero Pass missions early design omitted both keys and XP rewards, and they have decided to maintain some level of XP return with lamps tied to daily mission tier completion. And while we think it would be healthiest to remove these entirely when it comes to Dailyscape pressure, we do realize that this is a valued part of daily challenges that we shouldn't remove without further feedback.
I hope that they give you a choice of lamps or stars. I don't want lamps. I want stars because I'm still... I still have to then go and engage with that content. Lamps, I mean, I'll just... If I have to take lamps, okay, so be it. It'll just get dumped into Dungeoneering because I have done everything in Dungeoneering. So I don't have to touch that again.
Yeah.
But no. But I won't go back, and that'll be my last 200 mil because it's just not content I enjoy.
And here's an interesting bit. The Yak Tracks have tons and tons of those treasure hunter items thrown into them.
Yes.
The only XP benefits for Hero Pass will be the passive buffs that, once unlocked, provide benefits for the entirety of the current Hero Pass. Beyond those daily mission lamps. These XP buffs will be smaller than prior Yak Tracks, and with the Heroes Pass 3-month season runtime, you'll have more time to earn and use them than before.
This will probably actually cost them money over and above the other ones, because I know a lot of people with the Yak Track bought a lot of skips and such to get to the end to get that 20% buff.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of players I play with, I mean, that's they spent money on skips because they wanted that 20% buff.
Yeah.
They didn't want to do the Yak Track, so I just want the buffs. So I'll buy my skips, do a couple of the easy ones, and bang, then I've got that, and away I go. So I think will actually cost them money over what the previous one is.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
You're gonna have to really want cosmetics. I mean,
they're not selling a separate, like with Yak Track. If you weren't Premier, you bought a separate pass. There's no separate pass.
Yeah. And this is where we get to the one. And this is where we get to the key point of this. What you just said, Tanis, you're going to really want the cosmetics if you're doing this. Because everybody else was just doing it for sake of completion or the XP buff. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, 15% is still good, but it's not the main be-all and end-all, I don't think. And the lamps along the way with it. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see where things land on this, and I deliberately kept my perspectives quiet on this week so that what you're hearing here right now is in effect everything that was been rattling around in my head for the past few days on this. I am cautiously optimistic. I think, like we said, the most interesting thing is going to be the new spaces for cosmetic override, specifically the Conjure's override. Also, there's a thing that says new skilling icon. Like, does this replace the Necromancy icon on the cape or what? I don't know.
No, it can't be the cape. I don't know. That's weird, though.
I know. New skilling tools, the Ragnar pet, Exiled Guardian weapons, Cryptlord weapons, Radiant Warden outfit, Crypt Lord outfit, which looks terrifying, dare I say. So, I don't know. That's all I got to say at this point on this, is that hopefully it gets a fair shake, and because you know what happened in the first Rune Pass that was out. But at the same time, I feel like the discussion around dailies has been a little bit disingenuous in that it's probably not an actual issue for the majority of people out there.
Yeah.
So.
Agree.
Anything else on Heroes Pass? Or Hero Pass? I gotta get the wording right.
No, I'm excited about it. I think it is a good step forward. I love those content buffs. They're the things I'm sort of looking forward to, because I do love doing my clues. So having things like the Trailblazer, like that Chaos Ward, I still struggle with Zook. I still haven't beaten him. So having that, drop your damage input by 20%, fantastic. I might actually be able to kill him.
Wait, what was this?
The Chaos Ward, where you get the incoming damage, Zamarakian Undercity, the Elite Dungeon, you get 20% less damage taken. So...
okay, that's not Zuck.
Oh, isn't it?
No, that's not Zuck. Zuck is...
Zammy.
Zamorak is ED4.
Zamorak
is ED4, yeah.
Okay, so that's fighting Zamorak himself. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I haven't actually
Though Zuck isn't too bad, if I'm being honest, with Necromancy and whatnot. A lot of bosses that were difficult aren't that bad anymore.
Yeah, I've got to go back.
Though maybe that's just my tainted PVM experience that's coming through.
As I said, I'm not a great PVMer, so
I went in blind. I went in blind the other night and did my 5 next skills, no problem, with tier 80 necromancy weapons and tier 70 necromancy power armor.
Wait.
Anyways, but that's a bit of preview for after. Necromancy community feedback. The feedback continues. I understand you guys had a good discussion last week on the rituals. Any further thoughts on that?
I haven't. No, I don't.
No, okay.
Further thoughts on it. Yeah.
So just in general, then, I'm to paraphrase it. What would you say the discussion was last week?
So we talked about how it was probably not intended that a combat skill was getting the majority of its, or the best XP rates were coming from the skilling portion of that.
Right.
Now, when it was a pretty large discussion, and I don't think that we did mention something that was in the stream, which was an important point that we didn't really tease out, but it was said, and I forget the mod's name. Is it Luma?
Luma, I think, was in charge of rituals. Luma.
Yeah, and so she had said that there had been a mechanic that would punish you during the random events.
I knew it.
If you didn't click on it.
And I was up on a mountain, so I didn't watch a live stream. I just saw what you guys were talking about in producing the episode, and that's where we automatically went with this, is that there were aspects of the rituals that would hurt you.
Yep. And that had been intended, and then they decided in the end, because it's not the best.
Right.
So they decided against it, but didn't have enough time to adjust things accordingly.
Adjust XP, adjust what the glyphs would do and all that. That makes total sense now. Okay. And with this further feedback from that live stream, this was after you guys recorded last week, in terms of the ritual XP being overtuned. The initial discussion was a possible 50% reduction.
Yeah, and then since they've said
20 to 25% reduction, which is probably the sweet spot. I think.
I would have liked this weekend. I mean, I would have liked to seen them. Honestly, I would like to see it tuned up for just regular straight ritual XP and get rid of the
random events.
Yeah.
You know what I would like to see, and this might be a
have less of them.
controversial, and this might be a controversial take. You know what I want to see?
What's that?
I want to see what the full design would have been, having the random events hurt you. And
Well,
the
hurt
XP as it is
durability
right
of the
now.
glyphs.
Yeah, hurt durability of the glyphs and all that. I would have liked to have played it like that and see what it would have been like, if I'm being honest.
Oh.
And that might be a controversial take, because I know that was a late change on their part. So, but
My guess is, though, you would have been. I mean, can you imagine how much you would have to repair and how much that would cost?
Yeah.
Oh, my lord.
And the question I think that remains unopened with this is, if these rituals are brought down by this amount, do they maintain themselves as a viable training method to the point where the ecosystem built around this side of the skill, notably in terms of the candles and the inks and all that, does that persist in such a way that it is a viable portion of the skill? That's a question I think that's still outstanding with this.
And see, I look at it like, even though this is the skilling part of this combat skill, I don't think it needs to have, like, it doesn't need to have high XP. If it has adequate XP, that's fine with me, because I look at this as the production side of the branch. And to me, it's no different than making, Elder Rune Plate Body 3s, which is only 80k XP an hour, but they were going for 1.3 at one time. So it's like, that production side, to me, you can have a little bit less XP. That's fine. At the end of the day, it is a combat skill. I mean, fair is fair.
Yeah, 2 mil an hour is not doing combat seems a little extreme.
Yeah, and I mean, you also got to a point where you have to realize that a lot of the random events were tuned to be more user-friendly in the weeks following it, in terms of, like, I know the one creature that just walks across. I know there was the example
Shambling, the shambling monster.
Yeah, the shambling horror that, it initially started off, it was like, somebody just breezing through a crosswalk trying not to get hit at rush hour, right? Now it's like the old geriatric patient trying to cross the road with their walker.
Oh, the ghost has slowed down incredibly as well.
Exactly. But they also say they're also considering small tweaks in regards to the balancing of XP gained from ritual completion versus random events, and this would decrease the XP from random events in terms buffing XP for ritual completion, and they hope that this will ensure that actively engaging in rituals will still be a great way to train necromancy without being too overtuned in comparison to other methods. They're also looking...
That's what I like.
Yeah. It's like a spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're also looking at changing the protection glyphs function within rituals to extend the length of ritual disturbances. That's interesting, because right now they're useless.
Mm-hmm.
They're also looking at changes to Invention XP. Overall, the rate at which combat items gain XP, matching offhand XP rates to main hand XP rates, and edge cases where players would gain lower rates at bosses and high XP monsters, which makes sense because they're getting it in big dollops and not just over time, like people did with Shattered Worlds in '83. I feel like this is perhaps dealing with the fallout of lowering combat XP across the board when they made the changes that launched with Necromancy. I feel like that's what this is related to.
Yeah, you weren't here for that, Shane, but I 100% was completely and utterly incorrect about that not being a big deal. That was a hell of a lot bigger deal than I gave it
the
credit
Invention
for.
XP stuff?
Well, just the combat XP in general. Like,
yeah.
That.
I mean, when it comes to the invention stuff, I could feel it myself, because one of the last things I did before I left is I was leveling up a weapon to get undead components. So And I
Yeah,
felt it. I felt it.
Yeah, I felt it too. I felt it this whole journey.
Yeah. Some general changes regarding combat buffs like the Slayer Helmet, Genocidal, and Revenge, applying disproportionately to fixed and random damage. Okay. Looking at reducing some NPCs' defense, who is exceedingly high, since the removal of taggable monster stat reduction, and then a whole bunch of other things that were still on the list from the previous week. So we're kind of slowing down in these necromancy fixes. It'll be interesting to see what comes out tomorrow. Of note, we are recording this on Thursday the 31st, so assuming there's another one of these on Friday, September 1, we will of course have that for you next week. So overall, I feel like we're in a good spot with necromancy. That's my general feeling with it. How do you guys feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I feel good about the skill. More on how I'm feeling individually later into what we've been doing. But all in all, it's been fun. You know, I've been enjoying going through the content.
Good.
Yeah, much the same. I mean, I was working to get all the quests done. That was my main aim on these. It's a solid 7 out of 10 skill for me. I mean, it's not the greatest. It's certainly not the worst. I think they've got a fairly good balance on everything.
And that's the thing I didn't make clear on launch week, is that this thing is inevitably going to be compared to archaeology.
Oh, of course. And, I mean, archaeology is going to be the blueprint that we sort of compare every new skill to in the future, I feel, because that just hit everything so well.
And there's also the side effect that we were all stuck at home at the time, too, mostly.
Well, there was that too. But, I mean, hey, that's just my life. I mean, I'm stuck at home pretty much all the time anyway with my back. So, but, yeah, I mean, and... Yeah, it's still being engaged with. People is what I like about the rituals. You get a lot of talking and such. Now that they fixed up where we had a couple of players who, after they fixed, you can't put your chairs or anything on the ritual platform. There was actually one.
Let's get into passions, because that quite honestly that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
They should have banned those people.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Seriously.
I reported everyone who was doing it. We had one clown on World 12 that I play on a lot, because that's just what it logs me into. And then when they finished it, he actually logged in again and was complaining about not being, and he got ripped. Everyone was into him, and he just, if that's the way, I'm just going to quit the game. And everyone's going, well, good riddance. We don't want shit like you here anyway.
I don't get it. Like, what's the point?
I mean, we had to hop worlds because he would just constantly do it, and it's like, it wasn't just once or twice. He goes, I was just having a bit of fun. No, doing it once is a bit of fun. Doing it 10 hours a day for the whole 7 days, and making people have to hop worlds, then following them to other worlds and doing it there as well. I mean, that's you should have lost your account for that. But anyway,
and fun for who, right? Like.
Yeah. If that's your fun, what is your life like? You go and punch babies in the faces and steal their lollies, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay,
look,
patch notes.
Baby. Let's
Patch
kick it into the street.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I seem to have missed a lot in terms of focusing on other things the past 2 weeks. Anyways, the soul earned for Necromancy Tank Equipment Upgrade task will no longer fill when you use a Death Touch Dart on the Active Reaper assignment, or when the Active Reaper assignment has been killed in practice mode.
Yeah,
sorry.
Kind of bummed me out a little bit, but
just re-roll it till you get like QBD or something, and you'll be fine.
In all honesty, if anyone is still doing those soul earns, do it with your rituals, because you're going to need those spirits anyway.
Yep, that's what I did.
You need those souls. I mean, I did the first 2, and then I thought, hang on, I'm going to need souls anyway. So I just did the last couple with at there. So if you are still doing it, do it there, because you need those souls for your quests anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a fun one. Players will now correctly face the last altar used with the city of within the city of runecrafting area when leaving and re-entering. That's nice.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That's nice. I wonder what they had to do to get that working, because I know facing the player has always been a question in terms of getting that right.
I missed that one. That is a good one.
When the player is tasked with killing Tiztog Jad for the Tier 90 Necromancy tank armor upgrade, the game will now reinforce that the only version is the one in the fight caves that will count for this.
That's good, because I killed a couple of Jads in the kiln and could not figure out why it wasn't working. I'm like, why is that?
Right, so it's only fight caves. But at the same time, I'm kind of bummed out, because if you're able to, like if you're able to do it in the kiln or you're able to do it in Zuck, why not just let that work?
Yeah, I wish that would have been, but it wasn't like that. So like you didn't really, like I didn't know. Like I killed it a couple times in the kiln. And,
okay, so it was just, you know, go kill Jad, but it was expecting you to do it in the caves. And it wasn't
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Buy limit of congealed blood is now 5,000 for every 4 hours. This is what you get when Super Necromancy Potion now requires this over Blood of Orcus.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is that why? Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't made any of those potions, so now I understand.
They also turned the herb off from Arbuck because, you know, that's notoriously painful to get, that one. So, the Ritual minigame tab now shows the output as affected by any multipliers, such as multiply glyphs and the Tome of Fantastic.
Oh, that's nice.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what you're going to get. And, you know, this is important, specifically at high levels when working with the subjugation pieces, because you don't want to be wasting those. So you need to know that you have your multiplies and whatnot set up properly.
Oh.
So, very important. Threads of Fate has had its cooldown reduced to 45 seconds, and its duration increased to 6.6 seconds. This is important.
Sounding like our Prime Minister.
What was that?
I said you're sounding like our Prime Minister. Increased.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. We pick on our Prime Minister down here a bit, the way he speaks.
Oh, okay, fair. So this is actually important, and I felt like the window before was actually too small on this, so I'm more pleased with the duration increase. And the important thing about this is because, you know, typically you think, oh, I'm going to use this with, you know, my Finger of Death, right? But what you can actually use this with a fully charged Volley of Souls as well. And, you know, when you stack multiple NPCs up in the area, well, you see what happens in that, you know, you're going to be killing them rather quickly when you activate this. So, the full rundown on Threads of Fate for people who are not aware is that it links multiple enemies to share the same fate. Single target necromancy attacks will now be cast on up to 4 additional enemies within 4 tiles of the target. And if you can, you know, you can fire more off in that time. I like doing that with Volley of Souls. I'm very pleased with this change. And here's the one that you were talking about, Pernasius. Dying on the ritual site will now spawn your gravestone at the entrance to that site.
Thank God. Oh, I was doing my 35,000 soul grind and just people. Oh, like I was so. That to me was like, you know, when they were doing the live stream and they're like, well, we wouldn't want to instance it because, you know, people talking. I'm like, yeah, the only problem with an MMO is, you know, the like, like I don't. People suck. Yeah, they just suck.
I mean, the human race is not a good race as a whole. I mean, you know, they're just assholes, and you know, it's
and you know that with like at this point, I lost count with how many things that they patched out that you couldn't be doing and have at the ritual site. So,
and they should have. I mean, once they did it, and they said anyone found, you know, finding something that does it. If you do it constantly, we're just going to ban your account. They should have come out and just said that and just thrown all these these mongrels out.
Yep.
Here's a good one. The following titles now have both masculine and feminine variants: the Lord and Lady of Chaos, the Necrolord or Necrolady, and the Leech King or Queen. Cool. The Abyssal Link relic description now specifies that it will only work with the magic spellbook and not incantations. Important.
Oh, yeah.
And the My Skeleton can beat up your skeleton, And the My Undead can be your undead achievements from the easy and medium city of area tasks are no longer location specific. They used to have to be Edgeville Dungeon or Varrock sewers. Now they can be anywhere.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Already done them, so.
Yeah. And, I mean, it makes sense to let you do it everywhere because those things down in those dungeons were just too low HP and they just died too quickly.
Yeah, you had to sort of take everything off, punch, and then do it. Yeah.
Okay. General changes now. Made changes to how hardcore Iron Man deaths work. Is this controversial? I'm wondering within the Iron community. I don't know. I don't know many hardcore Iron players, but basically what would happen before is that hardcore Iron players would drop their items on death on the floor rather than using the death system. Now their deaths will use the death system, which can be reclaimed for the standard fee. Lives will still be lost, and that's, of course, what makes it, hardcore.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what made it hardcore is, you had that extra risk. Now, okay, you got no risk, so what's the point? It's just like they're just watering it down more and more and more. I don't understand why.
But if you die though, like I thought your count died.
You can get up to, I think it's two extra
free lives
as you go.
And then after that you have the option of downgrading to either a regular Iron or a standard account.
A normal account.
And then
I can see the downgrade option, but
yeah,
I don't get the lives option. It wasn't like, I mean, the Tricore Iron Man, like
so my hardcore Iron Man, where I went to the King Black Dragon, and I took prayer renewals instead of anti-fires.
Oops.
Well, that's kind of on you. I think the part
that was on me. I just clicked on the wrong.
Like the part where it becomes problematic, in my view, is when we're talking about game connection, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean,
and I mean that's such a gray area, and people could abuse it if you let them have some sort of decision back or forth about how it goes. So, I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's again. I mean, I don't do a hardcore anymore, so that doesn't affect me. So hey, if that's what they want, good for them.
Then we get
to make someone's game better.
Then we get to the Falador area task requirements being adjusted, and this is a vague patch note. And what this is just readjusting the level requirements for the tasks that involve planting a tree in the patch, specifically updating level requirements for the new bands of levels required for you and magic trees. That's all it says. And the last patch note we'll talk about is fix the rendering over the shadow energy in the Raksha fight so that it is always visible. Yes, good. That was always a problem for me when I tried Raksha. And, it's still a boss. One of the few bosses that I actually can't kill solo in this game, believe it or not. So thanks to Duos for that, for my former Reaper crew. But there we have it, folks. That's patch notes for the week. I feel like we had a good selection and good discussion there on everything. We're going to move on now to our achievements. Pernasius, start us off.
Okay, we have Arcane with 120 Necromancy on August 30th. Popo, also 120 Necromancy, August 29th. On August 29th, we have Questar Shite with 120 Mining. The 28th, we have 4 achievements with Daydreamer at 99 Necromancy, Lotzi at 99 Runecrafting, Netherios at 99 Farming, and Robbie, who also hit 99 Necromancy.
Then we continue on the Necromancy push with Up the Iron 05 with 120 Necromancy on the 28th, Chaotic Eric with 99 Necromancy on the 27th. Then continuing the 27th, we have Mats 374 with 99 Necromancy, and Thieves with 120 Necromancy. Then on the 26th, we have CQ Sethron and Ling01 with 99 Necromancy, Pony Picker with 200 million Constitution, and Sparty Pants with 120 Necromancy.
All right, now moving on to the 25th, Papo got 120 Cooking. We have Simbakuro with 99 Necromancy, Zil Cam with 99 Necromancy. And then on the 24th, we have Samurai Jack with 120 Necromancy, Cyro Aces with 120 Necromancy, and Terry Dax with 99 Necromancy.
I feel like I've been sleeping at the wheel with all these 120s and 99s here.
I like 120 I know the 120 Necromancies. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna see how far I get this weekend, but more on that in a minute. Well done.
I hit 99. Sorry, I was going to say I hit 99 Necromancy last Friday, and I'm not listed on there.
Well, you got to log into the forums for that. It's been a while, probably.
Oh, probably, yeah, actually. I think I've been logging in under my IronAss account.
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Although, don't you pull it out of the clan as well, Clan Quest?
Yeah, I do. I don't know why you're not on here then.
Yeah.
That's weird. Well, congratulations.
No, it's okay. The 120 is the important one anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Pick of the week.
Okay, this week I have chosen a show called Our Universe by Morgan Freeman. It's on Netflix. I mean, he's got a brilliant voice. Him and James Earl Jones, I just love their voices. It's just different aspects of the planet. It talks about all sorts of things, the origins of the universe, our planet itself, how stars are created, all the different seasons. One of the things I didn't know was Earth was actually a twin planet for a little while there, and there was a chance that we were the one blown up and not the other one that was with us. And just a brilliant watch for the general layman who doesn't get into all the high science side of things. It's really well done. It's done at a very easily understandable tone. How the sun generates its power, the core of the sun, that type of thing. All the different elements, how the first stars were formed. Just a really good all-round show. It's only 6 episodes, each about I think they were about 50 minutes each, if I remember correct. But highly recommend it for anyone just interested in our planet, and the origins of everything.
Yeah, I like these kind of TV shows or exhibits and whatnot that you have that can just make something sciencey accessible to the vast majority of people out there, because that is important in the modern era, with given how short people's attention spans have become as of late. So it's always good to highlight these. And I know we were talking about what the pick of the week would be, whether it be something that I'd seen or what Tanis had, or even this. And I said, well, let's just go with this because this is from what you said, just something. I think that if you're not up on this sort of thing, or you're not necessarily a science person, delivering it from this perspective can be interesting. So thank you for the pick of the week on this.
Yeah, no. And that's the whole thing. It's very accessible. It's very easy to understand. You don't have to have a science degree to understand half the stuff that they're saying. So recommend it to everyone out there, really.
Very good. Okay, Tanis, what was it that you wanted to talk about and what you've been doing that has been irking you, so to speak? It sounded like.
Well, I did my Souls grind, and I did all my quests until I got to, what is it, Alpha Omega, whatever that last quest
Alpha versus Omega, yeah.
Yeah. And I too hit 99 earlier this week, and said, okay,
and
let's
you're not
go.
Listed. Okay, that's weird.
So I went to do the quest, and I've gotten Raziel down to like 5k. That's as far as I've been able to get. I don't know what happens later in the fight. All I know is it seems like I can't even eat fast enough. I feel like there's flames around me somewhere, but I can't really tell, and so it's not good. And then I got like after many attempts of that, kind of got to where I was like, well, okay, well, now what? Do I work for the 120? Like, trying to figure out what I want to do now. So that's where we're at. Still trying to get him down.
I
I tried.
unfortunately do not have any tips for you as of yet, as I have not gone to do that. So I will defer to the community on that if they have any for you that they can put in Discord on that.
Yeah, the problem, as I said with that one, it is tough because there's these storm shards that are hard to see. Basically, I was just click on the left side of the screen, then click over on the right side of the screen, and just let Revo try and take him down. That's how I got through it. I died twice before I sort of realised just running backwards and forwards is really the only way to try and survive that.
Which makes me think that I would have to back off the magnifier to be able to move properly like that.
And this is just for the story version, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't tried him as a main boss yet.
Okay, interesting. I'll see if I can get to that this weekend and get something for you next week on that. Because that does sound like it's definitely something we want to try and work through and work towards on that.
It reminds me of Carapac Lightning.
Oh.
Like I can't get away.
It's
just that's what it
actually
reminds
good.
me
Yeah,
of.
it is. That's actually a good comparison.
I wonder if surging through it would help. Like you can surge.
I haven't tried that. Yeah,
only take one tick of it.
No, it hits the entire time, just bang, 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 bang.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's just constant for that entire last section.
All right. Anything else then, Tanis?
Nope.
What have you been doing since? Just pushing for the 120 then, following that, or?
Yep, that's what I'm doing so far until I am inspired to do something different.
All right. Parnassius?
Yeah, much the same. I mean, I've done all my quests. I hit 99 last Friday on the push for 120 now. I am sitting at 1 mil off 110, so just 3/4 of the way through my 109 level.
You think you'll make it by Monday?
No. I'm jumping between doing the rituals, and then when I get bored of that, I'll gear up and go and fight Abyssal Beasts for a while, and then get bored of that, and then come back and do some more rituals. So, also trying to feed the ghost cat. I want the Remy pet, the little ghost rat.
Okay.
So I did a little hint for anyone who is trying to do their fishing. If you want a heavy AFK fishing spot, I was getting about between 115 and 120k XP an hour at the Ghost Soul fishing spot. It is just one spot. It doesn't disappear. So you can click on it and just walk away and either have your fishing outfit eat the fish, or as I did, I just slapped on the necklace and had it all sent back to the bank so I can feed this cat to try and get the pet.
Interesting. Okay.
Cool.
I never really thought of that being, a usable training method, but I guess they're just there, hey?
Yeah, and the only reason I did it is because I thought, I'm going to get a bunch of these fish for the cat, and then I'm going, geez, that's actually not bad XP, and I don't have to move.
Yeah, and it's just one spot, right?
Exactly.
So
yeah.
you're basically,
I mean, that's
at that point, just click 6 times an hour.
Exactly. Yeah. But exactly. It's like click on it, walk away, and do my washing and folding and dishwasher and such, and come back. Just click every 8 or 10 minutes. Just click on the spot and go away and do some more.
I have to wonder if it's designed to be that way.
I don't think so, but hey, while it's there, I'm using it.
All right. Fair enough. Well, as for me, as you guys last heard from me 2 weeks ago, it was vacation time. Maybe we'll talk more about what that vacation was next week. But I attempted to do a bit of mobile gameplay while I was gone. I got myself in a rhythm where I was actually able to do Hermod kills successfully on mobile, believe it or not. I got down to my almost record time on mobile, which shocked me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got like a 41-second kill on mobile.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think my record on desktop was something like 36-ish or so. So, you know, kind of getting there, and it was the same general idea for it, but it's just not a good combat experience for me, I have to say, on mobile. Kind of like what you guys were saying earlier, that mobile's, you know, just better off for scaling and whatnot. So I will agree with that. But since I've been back, I went from level 86 to 90 Necromancy. So I'm sitting at 90, ready to start raking in the big XP with the rituals over the weekend. I'm going to see if I can push to 99 over the weekend on that. That's my goal right now. I want to see what I can do with that.
I should do that easy
before they drop off the XP on that, and just, you know, kind of ready to slam it and do it. Enough of being crashed at, you know, the bound skeletons or what have you. And you know, I feel like bound skeletons were the superior option to 90 over the Abyssal Savages, because the Abyssal Savages still have a lower hit chance with it, and they require more inputs compared to the bound skeletons, and they're only like, I think it was like about 150 XP difference between the two of them, if I remember.
Yeah, I think I did. I had bound skeletons from 70 to 90. I did Abyssal Beasts after from 90 onwards.
Okay. Which makes sense, I think. So, but that's where I'm at, and you know, it's been interesting watching this skill develop from the sidelines for the last 2 weeks. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed last week's episode. From what I heard, I talked to the three of you guys who were on the show individually. You know, I do that kind of thing. You guys all had good things to say about each other and what you guys did. So, and you know, just well done all around from what I heard. So thank you to you guys for doing that. But it's good to be back, and you know, we're going to continue on with the Necromancy discussion after Hero Pass, as promised, just to, you know, carry on and complete the close the loop, let's just say, to go back to our discussion on the core loop from a couple weeks ago, which I know absolutely irked you guys when I mentioned that, closing the loop on Necromancy. The plan is to do Hero Pass next week and then pick up Necromancy with combat, lore, and the general ramifications of how it's affected the game following that, as time allows. But I don't believe we have anything else for this episode. You guys good?
Yep, I'm good.
I am good. I just want to give a shout out to the RR man who's on my world, and I'm trying to talk to him, and he's ignoring me. So I know he listens to the show, so thanks for ignoring me, RR man.
All right, fair enough. And of course, big, huge thank you to you, Tanis, Earth, and Thaxi for making the show happen while I was gone. It's appreciated. And just a reminder to everybody else out there, RSBANB Update records weekly. You want to get it automatically, the best way to do that is to subscribe. And we're on a whole myriad of podcast listeners out there. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google, Pocket Casts, and wherever you get your podcast. Just visit update.show/subscribe. And of course, we're also on YouTube with the video versions there at youtube.com/RSBANB. Like and subscribe greatly helps the channel out. And of course, big, huge thank you to both of you guys for being here for this week's episode of RSBANB Update. Tanis and Pernasius, thank you.
Thanking you.
Oh.
And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week for another episode of RSBANB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
See ya.